And we're live.
Oh, there's that video of the I guess it was on maybe the Today Show. It's the video of the guy who owns that warehouse in Oakland, and Matt Lauer really puts him on the spot. First of all, as he's coming on camera, he's like, "I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't even know why I'm here." Like he's like you can tell it's going through his mind like maybe this is a fucking mistake. Uh-oh. And he's Matt's like, we just want to ask you a few questions here. He's just like, I just want the families to stomp on my body and tear at my flesh. You know,
He
he's
didn't
just
say
like,
that. What did he say?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That's a quote.
I listened to it as well.
That's one of his quotes.
It was one of.
They're all crazy.
This is basically what it was. The guy, it started the interview, and his main point was like, "I'm just a guy following a dream. I've got kids. You know, we lived in this place, and yeah, we let other people live there and whatnot, and like, but we didn't know that it was dangerous or anything." And the guy, the whole time I'm thinking like, this is just a manipulative piece of shit who is clearly a mini-me slumlord who is now not taking responsibility for putting people up in accommodations that were not legal and not safe. And he went through a whole thing of, you know, oh, woe is me, my family. And they asked him like, well, why weren't your kids there? Why weren't your family there at your house? And he said, well, I just wanted to let the young people there having a party. I wanted to let them, you know, finish their party, and we wanted to get a good night's sleep. And it was like, so you're saying that your children have to leave where they live to go stay in a nice hotel where you put them up to get good sleep. Like, is that what you're saying? And he's kind of pivots to like, I mean, it's just so tragic.
Why are you asking these ridiculous questions?
Why are you asking? I'm not going to answer these. Thank you, Kyle. I'm not going to answer these ridiculous questions anymore. These are ridiculous questions. I am so sorry. If I could let the parents just tear at my flesh, I would. And stomp on my body, I would. But
you
I
could
just
let them
can't.
do that. Actually, that's on the table.
A few of them. Yeah. I'm sure there's a couple. Like, I'm down.
Yeah. Hey, everybody grab the pliers. We're gonna start pulling this guy's toes off. He's gonna be like, whoa. No, not really. I meant that as a
figuratively.
I'm so sorry. Not for real. What I really meant is I'm gonna keep all of your children's money and also not get in trouble for letting people live in a hovel that's burnable and made of paper, apparently.
He was very awkward. That's what I took from it was that you rarely see someone on camera so unprepared to be on camera. Usually, with the help of a broadcaster, they guide you through it. If someone seems a little like they're in deep water, they're scared of the camera or the light or whatever, the broadcaster can guide you through it. This guy just kind of talks to himself for large points of it. It's
it's kind of long, but do you want to try it? Let's see.
Yeah, we could watch we could dig around in it maybe. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a terrible tragedy and everything, but this is the bad guy.
I see that it starts in like 10 seconds, so we could just.
Sure.
Yeah, we can just go to 7 seconds.
Were you guys saying something? I kind of stepped on it.
Oh, no, I was just saying that this guy, I think the reason he was having so much trouble is because he's probably some sort of addict or something, and also it's indefensible. He knew exactly what he was doing being a slumlord like that, a building lord or whatever we would call it. But anyway, let's go.
Ready, set, play.
Amina is the man who ran the so-called ghost ship. He is at the scene of the fire this morning.
They call it the ghost ship?
And joining us now, Mr. Amina, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, 36.
Good morning.
This guy looks like an NPC in New Vegas.
What am I doing here? Can I just say I'm sorry? Can I just say... The only reason why I'm here is to put my face and my body here in front...
Mr. Almana, let me ask you a couple of questions. 36 lives were lost in that building over the weekend. The family members of
He's
those
just looking at the ground with his eyes closed
answers.
for a lot of
They want to know who should be held accountable for their loss of their loved ones. Are you the man who should be held accountable?
Yes.
Am I the man who should be held accountable?
We're off the rails.
Did I build something that... With the
We're freestyling.
To that? Should I be held accountable? I can barely stand here right now.
But it's a fair question, Mr. Almana. Obviously, there were some conditions in that building that may have led to a dangerous situation and led to what happened there.
I laid my body down there every night. We laid our bodies down there. We put our children to bed there every night. We made music. We created art. We opened our home what became our home, it didn't start off as our home. It started off as an initial dream, an idea that we would have a facility and a venue that would host everything from at-risk youth to the gay community to artists that couldn't perform anywhere to
started off as a dream that I'd be a slumlord.
Alternative arts.
Yeah.
And eventually,
For starving
Someday
artists.
pay your rent
exploit
because
people
when
for money.
Your dream is bigger than your pocketbook. When the need for housing, when the need for people to be able to sit down and be
Matt
warm
Lauer's
and
really
make
letting us
food
go
and take a shower and take
broad.
a bath and go to bed. And so we created something together. You know, this stopped being me. This wasn't about me 3 years ago. I signed a lease and I got a building that was to city standards, supposedly. And I was lured into something that I had to constantly.
Mr. Almana, it may have been a dream, and all of that may be true.
It's
probably
Providing
not a
space
dream.
for some people
Yeah,
to
not a
live,
dream.
but according to the city, it was not under code. And we have someone who lived there, an artist who lived there for 2 years, Shelly Mack, and she said she rented a space from you, that you knew it was dangerous, that you profited from this and never spent a dime on anything but partying. What did you do to ensure this?
I mean, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about me. I don't want to talk about profiting. This is profit.
What can
The
you tell
loss
me
of
you
mass
did to
life,
ensure
like,
the safety of
I'm a
those people
father.
who
I
live there?
lead my 3 children down there every night.
We understand
Profit?
that.
This is not profit. This is loss. This is a mass grave.
The lawyer
So for
would
the
advise you not to
families,
be
can
saying
you-
that.
I'm only here to say one thing, that I am incredibly sorry, and that everything that I did was to make this
They're right,
a
Cliff.
stronger, more
Absolutely.
beautiful community.
This is a bit out of my
And to
realm,
bring
but
people together. People didn't walk through those doors because it was a horrible place.
I once handled a case
People
where,
didn't seek us
where
out to
16
perform,
toddlers
express
drowned in a
themselves
Chuck E.
because it was a
Cheese when there was a
horrible
foot and a
place.
half of standing water hidden under the ball pit. They couldn't see.
I'm
is-
47
Yeah.
years old.
Very
I'm the
similar
father of this
situation.
space.
Mr. Almana, no one is saying it was a
And on
horrible
the
place,
night-
but
on the
people.
I understand
night
much of it was
fire,
urine.
On the night of the
I got him
fire,
off.
did I know there was going to be a fire? Did I remove my children from the space and
They
get a
did sign the waiver.
hotel? Because I wanted to
They did.
avoid this? Because I wanted to cast
I mean,
blame on other people? No, because I wanted to
Crayon
get a good night's
stands up
sleep with
before
my
law.
children.
Mr.
And I wanted to
Almana,
let the young people do what they needed to do. I'm not going to answer these questions the way that you're presenting them.
What
Mr. Almana,
I didn't
obviously,
do anything ever in my life that would lead me up to this moment.
can I ask you
I'm
if
an
you are?
honorable man. I'm a proud man. No, I'm not going to answer
Are
these
you
questions on this
are you
level.
worried that
I
you
would
will
rather
be
get on the
charged?
floor and be trampled by the parents. I'd rather let them tear at my flesh than answer these ridiculous questions.
Mr.
I'm
Come on,
Almana,
Matt.
so sorry. I'm incredibly sorry. What do you want me to
Gotta
say?
rein
this
I'm not
back
gonna
in.
answer these
Yeah,
questions.
right?
then we will call
I'm
this.
This is not a
saying
6-minute
I am
segment.
sorry.
Yeah.
Then we'll end the
You
interview
have
there,
to hold
Mr.
my
Almana.
soul accountable.
Why are you
have to
ending it,
hold
Matt?
my
This is
soul
gold.
accountable for believing in
You
something.
should just let this guy fucking hang
Well, we
himself.
appreciate your
And
time this
luring
morning.
in other
I think this
artists
guy
and
knows
other
he's
beautiful
fucked.
people
I actually agree with you
that
there,
also
Woody.
believe
Like,
with
I
me
feel like
and
it
And
would have
we
been
will
easy to like,
continue to
every
follow
day.
like,
the
like
story
keep that
and
guy
its
going, and he
developments.
was gonna say something that was
Derek
really gonna
Almana,
get him in
Mr.
trouble in a
Almana,
minute.
thanks for your time.
You
I
should have been like,
think-
isn't
It was. I paused it. It was about to get good. Howard Stern would have turned that into something amazing.
Yeah, he'd have been like, yeah, this isn't your fault. Yeah, what was the wiring like? Because that's on the city, I think.
Yeah, right. He'd have been like, "Be honest with me. You fucking the other tenants, right? Did some of the tenants fuck you for rent? Yeah, well, yeah, I guess a couple of them. Like, I don't
You know, here and there, we're all laying around in there.
Yeah,
Stuff
they're
happens,
artist
sure.
types, you know. Yeah, like I don't know. They could have done something great with that. Instead, they're like, "Oh, I can see you're distressed. We'll cut that here." Ah, you dickwad. You had a great interview going.
Yeah, that guy was having a real fucking meltdown there.
But
I don't believe that he, like, you kind of, part of you wants to feel bad for him because you see this position of like, clearly, I don't think this guy, like, obviously he didn't want 36 people to die in his establishment. He didn't want that. Like, I don't think he's a mean-spirited guy in that regard, but he's also clearly someone that didn't give a care enough to even get it checked out before he was allowing huge raves to happen in this warehouse where he was just, I guess, shuttling these kids around to other places to live. Like, that's bad parenting, and even worse, running of what is probably an illegal business.
It is an illegal business. Yeah, it totally is. They didn't have permission for those shows and stuff.
You don't think they're paying
and-
taxes?
No. And if you look at, like, they've described the layout, and CBS did kind of a CGI thing to show you how it was all laid out. It was a fucking death trap anyway. Like, it
Do you
looks
think
like
there was probably drug use in there?
a ton of drug use. That's the scenario you have to envision so you understand how 30-something people are dead in a warehouse somewhere.
That's how the
They
fire
were
got
almost-
started. There's a lighter, a spoon, and a tinderbox somewhere.
That's what it was. Some lazy Lauren trying to get her hit that night.
Right,
She
right.
drops her fucking thing.
It
and
was too
passes out and
breezy
everyone's dead.
inside, so they set the walls on fire, made of straw, by the way, so they could melt the spoon.
It was one guy on coke with a great idea, you know. Like, we don't need the lights if we light everything on fire. Then it's all lights. You know?
Yeah, right. Then everything's a light. The whole building's a light source.
No, it's only dangerous if you're slow. But we're quick. You know.
It's only dangerous if you're slow, and I'm on cocaine, so fuck it.
He's like saying that to his heroin buddies.
Oh, hey. Speaking of assholes starting fires, it turned out that 2 teenagers started those Gatlinburg fires that killed 14 people.
How did they find that out? Just like
I'm not sure how, but they did, and they've arrested those kids.
It's always so impressive when they figure out how a fire started. Like I don't.
Oh yeah.
No, it's all burned.
I don't know how they do it. It's fucking magic. I look at my fireplace or fire pit, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell happened in there. It's all charred.
You're like, it could have been anything. You could have thrown a handful of sparklers in there for all I fucking know. You could have been doused in motor oil. You could have started that with coal dust.
Did I
It's
start
just
that
burnt.
with gas? Did I start it with paper? Did I start it with? You don't know. You don't know. There's all kinds of
Flamethrower,
shit in there. And
Yeah.
in Backdraft, it was easy enough because the melted incandescent light bulb pointed towards wherever the fire started. Like that seems pretty straightforward. But in real life, it seems very complicated. I don't really know how.
Yeah, when they say like oily rag was there, it's like what? But it was covered in oil. If that started the fire, that would be the first thing gone, right?
You would think, yeah. I don't know how it always works. I think maybe sometimes it has to a lot to do with the fact that they're able to get right there and put it out, and then sort of see like that maybe electrical scorching up a wall or something like that, or maybe they can see, oh well, it clearly started in this corner, and by deduction the coffee pot was plugged in right there. You know, maybe they do that sort of thing, and also chemical testing, of course, to like find, you know, what chemical compounds remain in the soot or the ash or whatever.
I feel like with forest fires, I might be able to do it, right? Like imagine the wind blows in one direction, right? The fire's 6 hours old and it's all V-shaped, right? Like it's all, there's just a big forest fire in the shape of a V. And I'm like, I think it started right here.
In your backyard, Pete. What the fuck?
It's just, I mean,
Big
that
pile
one,
of like
it makes sense.
big pile of bottle rockets laying there in his backyard.
Fall
the difficult
leaves,
one
right?
Is like the difficult one is like a whole house burned out. Because like you were saying, Kyle, like you can do it easily. Like if a fire started in my toaster right now, and I went over there and put the fire out and said, this started in my toaster. It's like, no shit, idiot. Like that's the only thing that was on fire. You put it out early. But if I'm out and I come home and everything is tinder and smoldering ashes, I don't understand how they go in there and go, maybe there's some remnant of wiring or something. I don't know. How do they know it's that and not a toaster oven or a Keurig or something? Like
I think it would depend from fire to
Seems
fire,
hard.
but you're right. On the surface, just looking at it, it seems like it would be wicked hard to like go in, especially if something has burnt to the ground, and then do like forensic work to figure out where this fire started. Maybe it has something to do with how much of the left side of the building's burnt rather than the right or something.
Or it could be one of those fields where like everybody just defers to the expert and the expert knows that it's BS, like psychics, where they're like, oh, we'll talk to, old Tommy Lawrence, our fire expert. Tommy, what started this? Faulty refrigerator wiring. They're gonna go, they're going to go, I don't think so. And he's going to go, you're going to question me? What experience do you have? And you go, you know what? He's probably right. It probably was the fridge.